And these two switches are critical. There's two cams here, and that's the on-station cam in front, and then that's the reset. So it basically says on this turntable, I'm on station now. If you tell it to go, then what it's going to do is it's going to go, and it's not going to pay attention to this first switch until it hits the reset, and they'll watch for that to come around. If for some reason it doesn't hit the reset, it'll just keep spinning the table around and around and around. If it doesn't hit on station, it'll keep spinning around and around. These are pretty critical. They're adjustable. They're locked down, but when you install these, I put a black line there, Sharpie line, so you can try to get them back here, and you can test that you don't have any funny reaction with the turntable if these cams are being depressing the limit switches too much time or not tagging them at all. There's three different spots you can adjust them in. So we want to make sure that's good, and that's how we would change it. We're changing direction, and we want that 3 o'clock on the camshaft. We set it here. So of course, if you turn it up fast, it might be a little bit past. If you slow it down, but we think we got it set where it's the sweet spot for clockwise.
What do you think you're going to come up with, I think?
Alright, we're going to go through dropping the upper tool. Want to adjust this guard all the way up, or the other side if you're going to be going out the other side. You want to put it in jog mode. Set some plastic in there to protect the brass. Go ahead and jog it down. Okay, once you got it closed, let it release. There's the indicator light on it's attempting to release it. And then when you open it, if you want to do this with power, that's one thing. You can also manually actuate it. But I'm just going to alternately hit stop. It's going to try to open. I want to double check that it releases it. So it didn't release it. So I'm going to go back down again. There we go. Looks like it dropped it. So it's that valve is activated by that key switch and that limit switch and cam right there. So it'll only release it when the press is down. Okay. And again, you're always attaching or releasing, setting up your tooling. So this is at the 3 o'clock position. That indicates it's in the middle of its dwell. You're not just in your spot or just about to leave your spot. You're in the middle of your spot for on station. Okay, quick tour of the machine. Grid meter, plate, reseal time, just that's normal heat. Your low power, whatever's left on this one is full power. You're cool. Arc expressor settings. This indicator light lets you know if a door switches, one of these corner door switches is not energized. And it's also tied to, I think these stop buttons. Yeah, these stop buttons run a relay through that light. And of course, you got to be all, no e-stop press, no reset required. But if you're all reset, system's ready, and you don't have that green light, that means it's a door or your stop circuit's not satisfied. Leave this one in seal. You haven't seen this before. They took this off the machines at a certain year. Tune makes it keep running through the resistors in a low power. Basically the same thing that does, just locks it in. People would forget. They think their power machine lost power. Next thing you know, they're burning up their resistors. So we just make it a habit of leaving it in the seal, and we tune the machine up the way we tune up the newer machines by going 10% at a time, retuning, keeping our meters in the green zone, all that stuff. So here's your speed control. Okay, that's how the operators control the speed. The reason why this is blocked off is because you can force jog this table, and if you did and the tooling wasn't, the press wasn't open or something, then you'd cause a crash. So you're really not supposed to use this except for troubleshooting. And then when they're running the machine normal, this plexiglass stays in place, and they have access to the stop buttons, reset buttons, and we keep them out of these buttons here. What these are is, here's the breaker for the DC drive. You got an MCR in there, so that basically is running this light and a required reset. Master control relay with the E-stops. Anytime you hit the E-stop while the table's turning, what's going to happen is it's going to restart in a slow speed and go to the next station in slow speed, so you don't damage the indexer by starting it in the middle of a cycle at high speed. So internally there's a potentiometer in this box, and it switches over from this one to the low speed till you're back on station, and it hasn't detected that you had a E-stop while it wasn't on station. If somebody's pressing E-stop or there's some other issue, like this breaker is off, you're not going to get your reset. So as long as E-stops are good, then this should reset, and when that happens, you get that power on that DC drive. Okay. Alright, so this is your turn indicator light, your turn button, and your switch on whether you're going to be in automatic or manual mode. If you're in manual mode, it's going to require that you press a turn every cycle. If you throw it in automatic, it's going to run this timer in between cycles, and it's going to keep cycling the machine without an additional start button until there's a stop or a fault occurs. That'd be full automatic mode. Here's your table direction, clockwise, counterclockwise. The machine is set up for clockwise right now. Here's your close indicator light, your close push button, and your auto manual. Now this machine kind of keeps track if it's closed on a dot. If it's closed after a cycle already, it's going to keep this yellow light on, and it's not going to allow you to do anything when you hit the close button. And so it kind of tells you, hey, I've already closed on this station. And if you want to have it reclose, you just hit the stop button, it'll reset it, and then you got that closed. Next thing is there's a skip feature on these machines. There's a limit switch under the table that catches a cam on the turntable disc. If you had a damaged die or something, you could activate that skip station. Next is the auto manual for the RF. This is the RF. You could manually have it on manual, press a button and it would run it. Or when you're running with operators, you throw it in automatic. Then this is the press jog for like installing the tooling or normal operation. So when the operators are running it, these guys are all going to be in automatic mode. And this panel will be closed, and they'll be using the start on this station and the start at the opposite station here. And they hit those at the same time, and you start that sequence. And then, like I said, if it's in full automatic mode, then what you're going to get is this light will light up and this timer will run, letting you know, hey, I'm going to turn the table. But this is if the operators need a little extra time for loading. It just delays the cycle every time before the turn, after the press opens. It delays it, counts out, then it indexes the table again. Up here you've got your 3-phase indicator lights, and you've got a couple pop-out breakers there. They're labeled to control an arc suppressor circuit. This also has a circuit breaker built into it, plus this circuit breaker. There is one fuse that I could think of in this machine, and it was for this box that the previous customer added on, and since it's working, I left it on there for you. So if you can make good use of it, it's a rate meter. Of course, when I'm single cycling it, it counted down pretty long between cycles there. But anyways, excuse me. You got your press pressure, and you got your valve to open and close and jog. So you got your 3-position valve there. And I can go around to the back here. I can take the door off and we get a little peek inside. Oscillator tube. Arc suppressor. Capacitors. Now it's just I open the door, of course. My green ready light's off, and that's obvious. For an RF, you get the RF on light. As long as you have the power control knob. So here's where we set up this die, 40%. Not saying it's a perfect setting, but make good seals every time. You know, we're at the 330. I'm sorry. Let's move that a second. Huh. Anyways, it's like 230, you know, 230. Somewhere around there. Between the 2 and the 3. 40%. Pre-seal. Preheat, that's a low power RF. These two run at the same time. Full power. And then a second to cool. We got a counter here. Expressor sensitivity. So, alright. Well, I hope that helps you guys out.